Based on all your scientific research, review of nutritional studies, and your personal experience, what advice would you give a person who has chronic kidney disorder?
Well, there are a lot of different kinds of kidney disorders, and some of them can be solved by just drinking enough water. A lot of people are dehydrated. But the leading dietary cause of kidney disease is eating a high-protein diet. It stresses the kidneys in incredible ways because the breakdown of amino acids involves releasing nitrogen. And nitrogen throws off toxic byproducts like urea and ammonia, and your kidneys have to detoxify that stuff. So, eating a very low protein diet if you have kidney disease is your best chance of surviving for a long time and potentially avoiding dialysis.
Should people get colonoscopies?
You know, there's not a single randomized trial that has ever demonstrated that having a colonoscopy reduces your risk of dying of colon cancer. And as a screening tool, it doesn't have much usefulness. As a diagnostic tool, perhaps. Canada took it off the screening list, the standard screening list, and I think it was in 2016. And they basically said there's no evidence to support it. You can use what's called a FIT test, which is an at-home stool test. Easier to do, and it's about 79% accurate. Doesn't involve the risks associated with colonoscopy itself. I mean, just to give you an idea, to benefit one person, because there's always somebody that benefits from almost anything you do, you got to do 1,250 colonoscopies to benefit one person. And for every one person, you're going to kill or hurt or kill another. These really aren't good data that compel people to want to get colonoscopies. So the FIT test doesn't carry any risk associated with it, and is probably a little more accurate because colonoscopy doesn't really catch anything on the right side of the colon very well, and that's where the most aggressive tumors are anyway.
What diet and lifestyle choices should people choose to prevent or deal with constipation?
Constipation is a result of usually diet and hydration. So you have to have two things to have a good bowel movement. One is you need a high fiber diet because it moves everything through the system. The other thing is you need a lot of water because water gets absorbed by the fiber, plumps it all up, and then it starts putting pressure on the walls of the GI tract to move things down. So even people who eat a plant-based diet sometimes don't drink enough water, and that's a point of contention in the community a little bit. People thinking that if they get enough water from fruits and vegetables, they don't have to, they are getting enough water from fruits and vegetables and don't need to drink water, but you actually do, right? So those are the two things. Now, having said that, there are some people who've been constipated for so long, they've damaged their gut microbiome, their GI tract has to be retrained to have a bowel movement. Many of them are addicted to laxatives or enemas. They have all kinds of strategies or supplements that they take that help their bowels move, and it takes a while to retrain the bowel, and we found that weaning people off of those things gradually is helpful, because if you don't take the magnesium anymore, you just stop having bowel movements, so they go back on the magnesium. So a gradual weaning process is sometimes the best way to do it.
What is wrong with milk, cheese, and yogurt, and what proof is there to support your opinion?
Well, the problem with dairy products, any kind of animal milk at all, is, first of all, they contain hormones, estrogen and estrogen metabolites, because it comes from pregnant and lactating animals. And for both men and women, this is not a good idea. I mean, one of the leading causes of breast cancer and ovarian cancer, they're estrogen positive, usually estrogen receptor positive, so you don't want to increase your risk of those things. For men, the risk that a man will develop prostate cancer having a couple servings of dairy every day is higher than the risk that a smoker will develop lung cancer. That's pretty significant. Dairy is one of the leading causes of juvenile diabetes in genetically susceptible children because the proteins in dairy, some of them have amino acid chains that very closely resemble the amino acid chains that make up the beta cells in the pancreas that produce insulin. And so an autoimmune response to undigested proteins in the bloodstream, which happens when kids have had a lot of antibiotics, they have a leaky gut, is that the antibodies will go after those pancreatic cells. It's what we call it molecular mimicry. It's when your immune system becomes a little bit confused because something that it targeted, dairy protein, looks a lot like a tissue in the body.